A lot of criticism was inerrancy. The word is a Johnny-come-lately. That's not true. J.M. Frost in 1900 used the word inerrant to talk about the Bible. So it was not a Johnny-come-lately. And you can't find a Baptist theologian in the late 1800s and early 1900s within the SBC that did not fully embrace the full truthfulness of the Bible. You just can't do it. But what happens, of course, is you have the Modernist controversy in the 1920s. And then in the time related to the two world wars, Southern Baptists wanted to be respectable, and they began to go and get terminal degrees from schools like Harvard and Princeton and Yale, Chicago, Rochester, Union, and then they would go to Oxford and Cambridge, and they would go to Basel, and they would go to Germany. And unfortunately, they would bring that theology back with them. And over time, the convention, at least in the seminaries, clearly was drifting to the theological left. And thankfully, in 1979, Adrian Rogers was elected president of SBC, and that began a march back to our roots, to where we had come from and what we had believed throughout our history. And I was a foot soldier during that time. I'm in my early 20s. I went to my first convention in 1983 when it was in New Orleans, and a little-known pastor named Jimmy Draper, who was at the First Baptist Church of Euless at that time, defeated Duke McCall, who was the former president of Southern Seminary, the former president of the executive committee, the former president of New Orleans Bible Institute, and the past president of the Baptist World Alliance. And Crystal, I can hear him say it. I wasn't there, but somebody said that Crystal said, "Oh, my Lord, we might win this thing after all. I don't even know where Euless is, and I live in Dallas." And he had gone to school with McCall. They were very close friends, and that a little-known pastor in Euless could defeat this titan in Baptist life, I think made it clear Baptists were concerned about what was going on in our institutions and agencies, and they were willing to vote with their feet and get to the convention. I know men, I really do, Paul, that had little financial resources. They would drive to the place of the convention, sleep in their car, take 2 days and go to the meetings and vote, and then drive back home. And many of them were laypersons. And I will always have tremendous admiration and thankfulness for their commitment to see our convention righted in terms of where it stood on the Bible.
Well, I'm thankful for all of that, for sure. I can't imagine where American evangelicalism would be today if you all had lost that battle. And ETS, Evangelical Theological Society, is better for it as well. And certainly many non-denominational churches who've been positively influenced by Southern Baptists. So really thankful for that, and how God used men and women of conviction to stand up and say, no, this is outside of orthodoxy, not a continuation of it.